Hi everybody, Dr. Joe Dispenza here. The formula is a combination of brain coherence and heart coherence, and when you combine those two, you have a more effective ability to be able to affect the body, your mind, and ultimately your life. Coherence in the brain and coherence in the heart is literally a thought away. And if you and I can do it without any external substance, without anything in our environment, I think we begin to become freer. And when we master our emotions, we master our creations. I hope to see you in my future. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Joe here. I hope by now you have practiced that meditation as a experiment to see then by making internal changes if it begins to produce some effects in your body or in your life. Now, I want you to know that I've been at this a very long time. And I want you to understand that when I get stuck in my life, when I have to make changes, significant changes for myself to adapt to a new life that I'm stepping into, that I go back to these very basics that I'm teaching you. I take out a piece of paper and I start thinking about the thoughts that I've been thinking, the behaviors or actions that I want to change. I start looking at myself during the day and what emotions I'm feeling and living by. And then I want to study great people in history. I want to learn their qualities and attributes. And I want to think the way they think. I want to behave the way they behave. I want to feel the feelings that they have felt. And the more knowledge you have, the more you learn about something, the more likely you will be to construct a better model. Now, what do I mean by that? I do this all the time because I'm interested in evolving myself. That's what plasticity is about. So when you ask yourself a question, what would it be like to be healthy? What would it be like to be happy? What would it be like to be more evolved, to be more mystical, to be more empowered, to be more wealthy, whatever it is? When you ask that question, you turn on that creative center in your brain called the frontal lobe. Now, that frontal lobe is 40% of your entire brain. It's the newest piece of machinery in the human brain that allows us to create. And it's the executive, it's the boss, it's the CEO, it's the symphony leader. When you ask that frontal lobe question, what would it be like? You turn on that creative center. Now, what most people don't know is the frontal lobe, because it is the executive, has connections to the entire brain. The CEO knows what everybody's doing. So you ask the question, what would it be like to be wealthy or to be healthy? Or happy. Now the frontal lobe's got to answer the question. So it only has a certain number of, or a certain amount of resources stored in the brain. And the resources are the things you've learned intellectually or the experiences that you've had in your life. So when you ask the question, what would it be like to be wealthy? What would it be like to be healthy? The frontal lobe's got to answer the question. So it starts looking out over the landscape of the entire brain for associated neurological networks of things you've learned or experienced in your life. And it begins to call them up. It begins to activate them. And when it gets enough circuits activated, those circuits begin to fire in tandem. And when they start firing in tandem, all of a sudden you get a picture in your mind, and that's called intention. So it makes sense then, the more you learn, the more you study, the more you fill your brain with knowledge, the more resources or more raw materials you are using to create a better experience. The more experiences that you've had, the more you can call on those circuits to build a bigger model. So when the brain all of a sudden freezes a frame, a picture, and you're selecting a new potential in the quantum field, a new possibility, as I said, when you do that properly, when you hold that clear intention and all of a sudden your brain starts to animate it, it starts to bring it to life. And the next thing you know, you start feeling the emotions of that future. You're combining a clear intention with an elevated emotion, and that process, thought being the vocabulary of the brain, feeling being the vocabulary of your body, and how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. You're changing your state of being from the same familiar person thinking and feeling a certain way to thinking and feeling another way. Now, the stronger the emotion that you feel from some experience in your life, the more altered you feel inside of you, whatever the event was, whether it was a shock, a betrayal, a loss, an event that caused you to all of a sudden break out of your normal chemical continuity. The moment something changes you from your environment and you feel altered, that change in your internal chemistry causes you to wake up and pay attention to what's causing it. And the moment you do that, the brain freezes a frame and takes a snapshot, and that's called a long-term memory. And that memory is embossed in the neural architecture. The problem is people think within the circuitry of that past experience, and they feel within the emotions of that event as well. And so most people start their day and their life living every single day in the same familiar state of being. So then you say to the person, well, why are you so angry? Why are you so afraid? Why are you so sad? Why are you suffering so much? They'll tell you, I am this way because of some experience or some experience in my life that's happening that's keeping me feeling this way. Which means then one event in a person's life or a series of events in a person's life has changed them biologically into a state of being. And what they're really saying is, since that event, or since those series of events, I haven't been able to change since. So then you ask them, what happened? And they will recount the story, but the latest research on memory says that 50% of what we talk about in our past isn't even the truth. That means people embellish the story. They make up things just to excuse themselves from changing. They make it harder. They make the conditions more intense to say, it's impossible for me to change because of that event. And to me, that means a person's reliving a miserable life they never even had, just to reaffirm or excuse themselves from permission from changing. So then how do we change out of that state? Well, it makes sense then if you can begin to select a new possibility in the future and you get clear on what that vision is, and you begin to feel the emotions of your future, the stronger the emotion that you feel from what you're creating inside of you, the more joy or freedom or excitement you feel from that internal event that you're creating. The more you change your chemical state into an elevated state, the more you'll pay attention to the picture that you're thinking about in your mind. And you're going to begin to emboss that experience neurologically in your brain. In other words, you're going to begin to remember your future. And you're going to begin to think neurologically within the circuits of that new experience that's about to happen. And you're going to feel chemically within the emotions of that future. And how you think and how you feel is your state of being. Now, if you keep practicing this every single day, it's going to begin to become familiar to you. And the key is then when you finish your meditation, you can't get up as the same person who sat down. Now, what do I mean by that? If you finish your meditation and you feel exactly the way you just started, I would say to you, nothing really happened to you neurologically, biologically, chemically, hormonally, genetically. You're still the same person. And more than likely, when you return back into your life, your environment is going to influence how you think and feel, and you're going to return back to that old state of being. So then here's the questions. Can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the event has already occurred? The latest research on neuroscience says it's absolutely possible. You can change your brain just by thinking differently. And can you select a new potential in the quantum field? And there are infinite potentials in the quantum field. And can you begin to emotionally embrace that future reality before it's made manifest? To such a degree that your body, as the unconscious mind, being so objective, doesn't know the difference between the real life experience that's producing the emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. To such a degree that your body begins to change to look like that experience has already occurred epigenetically. The latest research in epigenetics says you can change your body just by thinking differently. Now, if you practice this every single day by combining that clear intention with the elevated emotion, conditioning your body into the future emotionally, and branding that circuitry into your brain, if you keep doing this on a daily basis, every single day, there's going to be evidence in your brain and body to look like that experience has already occurred. There's physical evidence in your brain and body to look like it has already occurred, and more than likely you will be in a new state of being, and you will feel like when you finish your meditation every day. Think about this. If you got up connected to the feelings of your future when you finished your meditation every day, and you were able to maintain that modified state of mind and body throughout the entire day, you would no longer be looking for your future. Why? If you feel like your future has already happened because you're feeling the emotions of it, you wouldn't be separate from it. You wouldn't be in polarity or duality or lack, waiting for it to happen to make you feel better. You would be feeling the emotions of your future. Why would you look for it? Now, we would say then that this is the moment where you're no longer in lack or in separation. This is the moment, if you're able to maintain that state your entire day, that the synchronicities, the opportunities, the coincidences, the serendipities that begin to appear in your life means then that you are moving out of one frame of the same reality into another frame of a new reality. And you have to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day. And if you can, get ready, because unusual things will begin to happen in your life. And they will come in ways that you least expect, that you can't predict. Why? Because if you can predict them and expect them, they're nothing new. They're more of the same. They have to rock your world. They have to catch you off guard. They have to leave no doubt that what you're doing inside of you begins to produce an effect outside of you. And when you can correlate the changes that you're making inside of you with the effects you're producing outside of you, just like me in my own personal injury, I started to pay attention to what I was doing inside of me to produce those effects outside of me, and I started doing more of it. And when you start to see those events begin to happen in your life, the universe throwing breadcrumbs in your direction, telling you to follow the breadcrumbs, keep doing what you're doing, you're going to pay attention to what you did, and you're going to do it again. And you're going to believe more that you are the creator of your life by changing your thoughts and feelings instead of the victim of your life. And when those synchronicities happen, and they happen to a lot of people that do this work, the energy, the emotion that they feel, and the surprise. Now, the brain learns by mistakes and surprises. And I say we could use a few more surprises. When you're caught off guard and this event all of a sudden happens to you, and you are surprised and in awe that something just happened that you have been working on creating, and you are in the present moment more awake and more alive than you've been in a long time, you're going to remember that you created that experience. And two things will happen. The experience produces an elevated emotion of awe and worthiness and freedom and inspiration and a love for life. And that is the natural state of being. You are going to use that emotion to create your next experience. In other words, it's going to be easier for you to create the next experience because that emotion you're going to use to create the next event. The second thing that happens to numerous people when they are so caught up in the present moment, so awake and so alive that they're realizing that they are the creator of their life, they look back at their entire life all the things they regretted, all the circumstances that they wish they could have changed. They look back at their entire past and they don't want to change one thing in their past because it brought them to the present moment. And that is the moment the past no longer exists. And there are people in this work that have had brutal pasts, tragic pasts, with abuse physically, sexually, emotionally. They have been traumatized or shocked by very difficult events. And when they break through and they have their own personal transformation, and they look back at their life, not from the same person, but from a different person with a greater understanding, they can look back at all the sequences of events and they understand that they had to go through all of those different experiences to bring them to their moment of freedom, to bring them to their own moment of transformation. Now, this is important for people because people only talk about their past. People only revisit the past. People only obsess about their past when they're feeling a certain emotion. It's the emotion that causes them to recall the past. When the person is truly changed, it's hard to change back. They no longer are excusing themselves from the past. They no longer belong to the past. This is the moment they belong to the future. And many people that have had personal healings in this work, you could say to them, after they've healed themselves of a rare genetic condition, where they've healed themselves of cancer, where they've healed themselves of an autoimmune disease or an endocrine disease, how come you no longer have that disease or that condition? They will tell you that condition exists in the old person. I'm literally somebody else. They didn't visualize the tumor shrinking. They didn't visualize the blood values changing. They literally became a different personality. And that new personality is connected to a new personal reality. And this then begins to become the objective. And so I'm so proud of our community. I'm so proud of the people that do this work, the thousands and thousands of people around the world that do this work, because they're not caught in the philosophical realm. They're waking up every single morning in the creative process. Why? Not because they feel like they have to do it. They do it because they don't want the magic in their lives to end. They want to continuously see those coincidences and opportunities to continue to appear in their life. And when they do, they're using the energy of every synchronicity, of every new opportunity, of every coincidence. They're using the emotion that's created from the surprise for their next creation. And they're not waking up dreading the creative process. They're excited about the creative process. They're anticipating a new future. They're anticipating synchronicities. They're anticipating unusual events, unexpected events to happen in their lives. So one of the most difficult parts about all of this is making the time to do it. And when you carve out a little time in your precious life to retreat from your environment, you don't have to go to the Himalayas or to a monastery. You could close your eyes and sit in your bedroom. You could sit in your office. You could sit your body down and have it not get up and experience things. And you can tell it like training an animal to stay. And you will decide when to feed it, when to serve it, when to clean it, when to take care of it. But this is the moment where you're not being defined by your environment. This is your moment to not be defined by the needs, cravings, or drives of your body, and to not be caught up in the predictable future or the familiar past, to labor for the sweet spot of the generous present moment. And in the next episode, I want to talk to you about what it means to find that sweet spot of the generous present moment, the unknown, where that is the perfect place to create from. And so we'll talk about brain coherence. We'll talk about the present moment. We'll talk about disconnecting from your body, your environment, and time, and becoming pure consciousness. And we'll begin the model now of what it means to create brain coherence. Part of the formula for you to begin to execute greater changes in your mind, in your body, and in your life. I'll see you next time. Sit up. Eyes closed. Take a breath and relax. Your body. Feel your body. And relax it. Feel your body. Relaxing. Slow it down. And inhale through your nose all the way to the top. And hold it. And exhale and relax. And inhale through your nose in one slow breath all the way to the top. Hold it. And exhale. And relax. More. And inhale through your nose and hold it. And exhale and relax. Your body. Stay there. It's time to become conscious of your unconscious thoughts. So conscious of these thoughts, they'll never slip by your awareness unnoticed again. What are those thoughts that you can't bring into your future, that's connected to your old personality? Review them. Remember them. Make them conscious in your mind. So conscious, you'll never go unconscious to them again. Commit them. To your memory. One more time, again. They may not pass today. What behaviors, things you do, habits, how you speak unconsciously that you'd like to change? What are those behaviors? View yourself acting that way, and remind yourself that those behaviors don't belong in your future. Make them so conscious, be so aware of them, you would never go unconscious to those habits again. What will you stop doing? Commit it to memory, so you catch yourself in your waking day. That's change. And what emotions and feelings that keep you connected to past experiences that you can't take into your future? What feelings bring you back to the old self that influence your thoughts and behaviors? Name them. These are the feelings that will cause you to no longer see or believe in that future. They cause you to look at that future through the lens of the past. What feelings and emotions must you be aware of and notice? So you don't lower your energy today. Become conscious of them. Remind yourself who you no longer want to be. And commit it to your memory. Thoughts, behaviors, emotions that belong to the old personality self. These you must be conscious of your entire day. So conscious that you don't go unconscious to the old self. And now it's time to create a whole new personality that leads to a new personal reality. It's time to change your energy and become someone else. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain that you want to put your attention and intention behind, that will become the voices in your head that encourage you? Review them. Repeat them. Feel them. Install the hardwiring, the hardware that becomes your natural thoughts in your brain. Again, remember these thoughts. Feel them so you remember them. And repeat them until they become easier to remember. Again, firing and wiring. Put some feeling behind them so you remember them. These will be the new voice in your head. Again, feel it. What behaviors? What things will you do today? How will you act? Rehearse mentally who you're going to be when you open your eyes in this day. Rehearse your actions. How you'll be with certain people, certain conditions. And remind yourself of these actions, installing the hardware in your brain. Rehearse what you're going to do, who you're going to be when you open your eyes. Again, rehearse in your mind how you will act today, even how you stand, how you breathe, how you smile, what you do. Review it, priming your brain for the act. Firing and wiring new circuits in your mind, changing your brain by thought alone. Again, making it easier each time to act this way, the more you review it. Feel it. And now, can you teach your body emotionally how your future will feel before it happens? What emotions will you feel when you arrive at your dream? Feel it with all your heart. And allow your body to respond to your mind. Feel it conditioning your body into the emotions of your future. Feel it. Experience it. Embrace it. Let your body get a taste of your future. With an elevated emotion. Feel it. Embody it. Become it. And feel into your future. Feel it. This is your connection to your future. And remember this feeling. It's your connection to a new future, a new personality, a new personal reality. Feel it and remember this feeling. changing from the old self into a new self, investing in yourself is investing in a new life. Believing in yourself is believing in possibilities. Reminding yourself who you no longer want to be. To remind yourself of who you'll become. Practice it every day and see the changes within you and all around you. Change your mind. Change your life. Now you're ready for a new life. Now slowly bring your awareness back to a new body. To a new life. And to a whole new future. Into a whole new time. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and present yourself to the world of 3 dimensions. In this space and time.